Welcome back to the Impact Podcast or the Impact Show. Did we? Okay, no, we're back on. Okay. We almost had technical difficulty, but we're
good. We are good to go.
Episode number 30. That's very cool.
30.
30. And today we're going to talk about the mandate of vision. Vision and leadership. And so last week we talked about biblical leadership, which I unveiled it was one of those things. Let's just get right into it. So, in the wake of the Charlie Kirk assassination, I felt conviction and I felt the need to really be a little more courageous myself in the message that I share in honor of Charlie Kirk. And I don't intend to get that all crazy, but basically I'd said that last week. I had said that I challenged myself a little bit to be more courageous in my ability to marry scriptural teaching in the workplace based on the courage that Charlie Kirk had. And I believe I had said that, and for many, many moons anyways, all of my spiritual life, since I was born again, I had no problem talking about God and about Jesus and the love and sharing the gospel. However, I had not had the same amount of courage to marry my trade, my work. I almost kept it compartmentalized just a little bit. Now, the door ever opened, I always would jump in, right? But I just kept the door closed.
You didn't open the door.
Correct. And I think that Charlie Kirk did that. And I hope I did a good job of explaining that last week. But, man, his life has impacted many. And so we spent some time talking about him, and we even did a show on biblical leadership that was kind of, something we brought up to the front of the line that we were going to do later on. But anyway, what was your takeaway, Maddie?
So I've not been able to read the book of Nehemiah. I know this week has been kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But I will say that, since we started this podcast, some people know we started, doing the recordings and videos and stuff in November of last year. Mm-hmm. And then we kind of went live or whatever, end of January. I think that when you're talking about you and relating to Charlie Kirk and how, you say you think you can do a better job. What I was thinking is, where I was in November with my faith journey mm-hmm. to where I am now is a lot because of you.
Wow.
So, there's that. But I just remember standing in Daniel's kitchen and you asked me, do you go to church? And I was like, we watch it. Or I said something because I was almost ashamed that we didn't go to church. And you just every time that we would have an episode, you would always say that Jesus is the number one leader, And so it just rings true to this podcast and to, I don't know what we measure success, but we've kept it going strong. And if anything, I've grown with my faith.
Wow. Well, I'll receive that. Thank you for sharing. At the end of the day, that is why I started this, right? It's one of the reasons that I started it. And my life I've also wanted my life to be founded on my faith. And so I've not always been a good Christian boy, I've oftentimes have slipped and slid and let go of the wheel, right? But always been a man after God's heart. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I tell people. And that's all that matters. You're not measured by your sin anymore. And so, but anyway, thank you for sharing that. And I appreciate that. So this podcast in this show is certainly meant to do that for me, for you, and for many other people.
Mhm.
And so I think that for nothing else, Charlie Kirk has only emboldened me a little more. And I don't know what that means because it's all fresh. It's just been in the past couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But what does that mean down the road? And it may not mean anything different than what we're doing right now, but I've certainly been praying to God to, because I think I don't have my phone because I can't look at my phone right now because it's recording. But I seen where someone posted on Facebook a challenge to look. Charlie Kirk has now passed on. God took him home. Who's going to fill his shoes? And if I'm honest, I was felt prompted by God. Like, yeah, it's your turn, buddy. Step up.
Yeah.
And then I thought, if I'm honest, well, what if I get assassinated?
Yeah.
I mean, but listen, it's a real thing. And so when you decide to live for Jesus Christ, you will be persecuted. He said that.
Yep.
And so anyway, if nothing else, I'm going to get my face in that book and see what God has in store. So
it's exciting times.
Anyway, God bless Charlie Kirk. So today, mandate of vision. One of my favorites. One that I believe I have been gifted in. Speaking of God, I feel like He's gifted me with this. This is a gift. The ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. If you look it up, Google it, like we say. The ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. So to imagine. Now, how many people do you know in they're grown people that say, "Oh, I have a really good imagination"? Not very many.
No.
But in reality, that's what it is. And I'll also say this, the ability to dream. Everybody doesn't have that. Some people do and some people don't.
What do you mean?
Well, everybody doesn't have the ability to dream big dreams and see things.
So people who don't dream, they're just stagnant every day.
Well, they have different gifts, right? But,
well, I'm not saying like they suck. I'm saying like they just aren't forward like they just aren't. It's more day to day. It's following, I guess, more than.
Yeah. And then I would even say this. Some people can look up, I'm going to try to get this right. Some people can look up in the sky at night and see the stars. And some people can see the picture that the stars, right? The stars connect. It's two different types of people. But one's better than the other.
Right.
But certain people have the gift. And I'll even say this too. As a spiritual gift, in my opinion, it's divine. God empowers you to see things and have visions. And even in the Bible, there was people that He gave dreams to, and then they would go interpret. Like someone would have a dream, and we don't want to get into all that, and then they would interpret it. Mm-hmm. Right? What does that mean? What does this dream mean? Well, then he would interpret it, and it was like sometimes it was bad, but the interpreter, right? So the person that can visualize what is coming and can dream big dreams. And so anyway, there's a lot in Scripture about that. We're not going to dive off into that today, but essentially it is a gift. I like to think that the divine imagination is something that God gives some people, and it absolutely separates great leaders from good leaders. Absolutely, every time, okay? And so you think of the world's most famous leaders, which there's lots of them, but Elon Musk we've referred to on the show, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, all these guys that have ran humongous organizations. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes, they're just big visionaries, okay? They have the ability to see things for what they could be. And some people have that, some people don't. Some people just don't get excited about it. And some people do. But anyway, these leaders that we're talking about, these big time leaders, they're not known for their day-to-day management, right? They're not known for being good managers.
Right.
They're not known for being really smart people. They're just known for working really hard, okay? Most of them. And, well, all of them work really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And the ability to cast vision into the future, to see that which other people can't see, and then paint a picture for everyone to go.
And lead people to the vision, right?
Correct.
Paint that picture. That's a good way to put it.
We know these names because they have strong vision, okay? And it propelled them to the highest points that you could possibly be at. And so leadership and vision is a part of leadership, but it's very much so necessary. You can't really lead without a vision, okay? You can manage and you can be in charge, but you can't lead. You remember we always talk about leadership is not a position.
Right.
Leadership is something that you do. And so we know that, but you just can't, I mean, it's kind of like you can't lead without a vision. You can't drive. Like if I put a blindfold on you, Maddie, and said, hey, go out there and drive to your house, blindfolded, you're just going to sit there.
Right.
You're not driving anywhere because you can't see. Same thing. No vision. No, you ain't going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't leading. Okay. So no vision, no leadership.
You're a parked car.
You're a parked car. Exactly. Oh, Tyrone. You cannot lead the way without seeing where you're going. Okay. And so what is vision and leadership and how do you develop it? Because at the end of the day, I'm sitting here telling everybody on the show, you just heard me tell them, not everybody has it. And the ones that do are great. So it's like, well, if I'm in the camp of I don't have it, I don't feel like I have that. I don't feel like I have the ability to see the picture. I just see stars. Then what can you do to get it? Okay. If you're looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so vision is one of those core mandates. It's the dream and the direction for your company or your team or whatever it is that you're leading. It's what forms the culture, right? It guides the decisions that you make. It helps you set goals. All these things vision does. And man, I was actually going to, it's on my phone. I can't see it. I have the vision statement from my company. I was going to read that. But
for Impact Service Group?
Maybe you have it. Just don't click out of our recording over there. Oh my goodness. All right. So she's looking it up on the computer, guys. If we just go off the air, just be patient. But we do have a vision statement at Impact Service Group. Okay. I'm going to carry on. So your vision is also what inspires others to follow you, right? It inspires people to come where you're going. And it here's the other thing it does. Vision creates the desire for someone to work hard because they understand why they're doing it.
Right.
They have a purpose. So vision is so important. But if you want someone to make a difference, you have to tell them what difference it makes, which takes you back to your vision. Leadership vision is what makes a company worth working for, period. When the company doesn't have vision, when the leader doesn't have vision, the leader of that company doesn't have vision, then who wants to work there, right? You're just getting a paycheck. Right. And listen, some people will work just for a paycheck, but most people will not work as hard just for a paycheck.
Right.
So no great leader ever accomplished anything without having a vision at some point. And here's the deal. You can have a vision and then you can slip. You can let it slide and you can get off track. We talked about just 1 minute ago, letting go of the steering wheel.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to have a powerful vision in order to lead something great.
So like your vision, you just said you can slip or whatever, but like, so, I mean, I guess that's more of like rolling with the punches type. Or there's another what's the word where you can not conform, but you change based on different, hurdles or whatever.
100%.
So your vision might alter a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's still there. It may
Yes.
take you longer to get there or whatever it might be.
Well, I believe that, and I could be wrong here. I believe your vision can change based on, maybe it can't. Maybe it can. Yeah, I think it can change. It can, what do you call it? Mature. So your vision might be, I don't know. Read our impact vision to us.
Hold on 1 second.
And I reserve the right to change this at some point based on what I just said. But okay, so we started Impact Service Group, and I said, this is very important. It's foundational, right? I'm teaching this stuff. I got to live it. I got to breathe it. I got to live it. What's our vision? And so I wrote it. Me and Maddie got together. I come up with some stuff, and she helped me, of course, wordsmith it. But we came up with this thing where this is our vision. This is what we are about. So read that.
You ready? Mm-hmm. To be the standard of leadership in the mechanical and maintenance service industry, where every action reflects integrity, every project drives excellence, and every person is empowered to lead from where they stand. We envision a future where service goes beyond systems, where it transforms the lives of those we work with and the communities we serve. Through innovation, relationships, and a relentless pursuit of impact, we are building more than a company. We are building a legacy that lasts for generations.
There's a lot. That's a lot, but I want you to know something. That embodies everything that I signed up to do, every bit of it. And that vision statement right there is on point for what I have inside of my heart, right?
Yeah.
That's what we want. And that's what I'm talking about. Now, that's really good. Like I said, I can't give some credit to Maddie here. She helped me come up with that. But at the end of the day, that statement describes fully what my vision is for our company. And so that needs to be plastered on my walls, and I need to be messaging that to my people. Right? Why? Because they'll understand that this is more than just a paycheck, right?
Right.
Okay. So you want to be crystal clear in your vision statement. Crystal clear. And you were very clear. We were very clear on that statement. You agree?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no gray. This is our vision. This is where, and then of course you have a mission statement, which we won't go there today because we're talking about vision. Mm-hmm. But we want to make sure to communicate it effectively and to be crystal clear on what we're trying to say.
I think with your vision statement that you came up with too, it's obviously talking about the future. But it's not so honed in on one particular, to make $2 million or whatever it is, it is broad so that it can mature, mm-hmm. as you said earlier, or change. But at the end of the day, everything that you do day to day in Impact Service Group and beyond embodies everything that vision says.
100%. And that's and knowing that, we got to stay focused on it. And so you put that on the wall, and that's our flag, right? That's our flag. That's our mantra. That's what we're doing. And if anything that we do and decisions that we make have to go back to that, mm-hmm. does that echo what we're here for? And so we got to have it. Okay. So, how do you create a leadership vision? Well, we just did. We sit down. You think about what's in your heart. You think about what drives you. You think about what you need to become a better version of yourself and to help others grow as a leader. Again, that's what you're trying to do, is grow and develop others, because that's what you are as a leader. So the leader must come up with what's in his heart and put it on paper. That's how you come up with a vision statement. It's fundamental. Leadership vision is about more than just a written statement, though, and a code of conduct. The most inspiring leaders are fueled by their purpose and their passion, and their vision affects every decision they make and move that they take, period. So it's not So, yeah, we can sit down and write up a vision statement. And then you can say, well, yeah, put that on the wall. But guess what? It has to be genuine, number one. And number two, you got to talk about it.
Yep.
You got to go back to it. And decisions that you make, like, so when we get ready to hire somebody at Impact Service Group, I go and read that statement.
Yeah.
Does this person align with this? Will this person get in line with this?
And I help that person align.
And if not, they don't get hired.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's not just words, because words are cheap. But anyway, you got to create the vision statement, and you got to create the vision. And so, let's talk about basically how that works and how I came up with that, for example. And one of the things you can do is some self-reflection. We talked about being self-aware on the show before, but self-reflection. So leadership and vision come from within, from inside your heart. You heard me refer to that. To determine your vision, you must be in touch with your inner desires. What do you actually desire to get out of life? And how can you be a part of pulling that out of you? I mean, because at the end of the day, it goes back to who do you want to be and the legacy you want to leave, right? The ultimate reason for doing what you do every day. And so, as a leader, why do you do what you do every day? And so that's self-aware. Of course, how do you react? How do you respond? We had Mac and Rhea on here a while back, and you remember they talked about the being responsible, the ability to respond instead of react, and that the gap in there that's where you're learning to grow. But being self-aware is an active skill. That's something that you have to be intentional about. Maddie's favorite word. By the way,
being self-aware is very hard.
It is very hard. It is. But it's so important.
Because it's so easy to just not do.
Right.
You intentionally do have to actually be like, take a step back, look in the mirror. It doesn't just fall on your plate.
No, it doesn't. You have to be intentional about it. One of the things that we talked about Jesus last time, and I wanted to say this and I didn't, but you study the life of Jesus, and one of the things that he did, and I've always tried to do, Jesus spoke in third person, oftentimes. And you're like, what? Third person? Yeah. Go read it. You don't ever realize it, but now that I brought it up, you'll go back and read it and you'll be like, wow, he is.
Yeah.
He almost separated himself from what was going on and talked about it. And that is something that's someone that is extremely self-aware. Okay. Now, people would look at you weird if you were standing in the store and you were like, hey, Jeremy says blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Okay. So you don't do it that way. But the point is, you need to be out of body all the time.
Yeah, you can kind of remove your, I've never thought of this.
Oh, you're thinking of that.
Yeah, because I'm like, when he does, like when Jesus speaks in third person, you were saying he separates himself. So I'm like, I can see where if I could close my eyes and think about me in meetings or me in day-to-day life and watch myself.
Yes, 100%. Guess what? It's a superpower. I do it all the time. And
Are you saying you have a superpower?
No. I'm saying that is a superpower, though. Like,
how cool.
I do it all the time. So, look, I'll be in a meeting, and I'll be like, it usually takes something to prompt me. And maybe it is a superpower. Maybe it's a spiritual gift. I don't know. But I'll be in a meeting, and I'll be talking to someone, and I will literally all of a sudden be like, get control of yourself, Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
And I will coach myself through the conversation. As if I'm telling Jeremy.
Like you're talking to yourself.
100%. And I'm thinking, am I crazy?
But it's Jeremy talking to Jeremy. It's not like
it is.
It's not like I'm like, all right, I can do this.
No.
You can do this.
Yeah, Jeremy, you get yourself together.
Yeah.
Like, Jeremy, you just said something stupid. Like, I can do that. Now, again, that might sound weird, but that's just the way it is. Maybe I'm weird, but I can do it, and I believe it's something that separates people.
Yeah.
Because when you can manage yourself to that degree, when you're that self-aware, and I've never shared this with anybody, I can't believe I'm sharing this. When you're that self-aware, you can coach yourself through different things.
Yeah.
And be the person that you need to be in that. Now, where I'm not good at that is with my wife and kids. I'm good at it at work, but man, when I get in my feelings about something and my kids are involved and it's hard. And my wife, it's hard because I don't know why, but it's just I have to really, 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 really try.
There's a little more emotion on that one.
Maybe so. Okay. All right. So anyway, self-reflection. The self-awareness is an active skill that requires time and effort, as you said, but it is worth it. And being extremely self-aware is a gift. Okay. What about being mindful? So, practicing mindfulness can deepen your self-reflection and allow you to gain new insight. Practicing prayer. We talked about prayer before. Some people would say meditation, but I would say prayer. You can look, being mindful and being prayerful, taking it to God, giving it to Him, and being mindful about what He would have you to hear is always a way to build vision. Being pure in heart, right? So that you can be open to receive from God the vision that He may give you.
Yeah.
Because you may not be pure in heart, and that prohibits you from being self-aware enough to receive what God would have. Also, leadership vision almost always should be positive. You should be optimistic about your vision. Forward thinking, illuminating. No one wants to really work towards a future that's fixated on problems and challenges.
Right.
Okay. So basically, great leaders embody the idea of reframing problems in a positive way. In other words, have a solution, right? So I used to have a foreman, and I may have shared this before, where I worked for him, and I would come to him with these problems. I wanted him to know that I was smart enough to find them. And he would say, "Don't come to me with any problems, only solutions." And what he meant by that was, if you come to me with a problem, bring a solution with you.
Right.
And if not, don't bring it. Okay? And so that's a real thing. Because as I've gotten older and I became a leader, I realized that when a guy comes to me with a problem, I expect him to solve it. If I'm having to solve the problem, then I'm failing as a leader. I want him to solve the problem and build confidence.
Right.
So now I'll help him solve the problem by asking questions to lead him to the answer. But a good leader always asks for someone to bring a solution with the problem. And you focus on solutions and imagining the possibilities, right? So what are the possibilities with that solution? This one, this one, this one, this one. Let's pick the best one. Okay, number 4 is clarity. You want your vision to be clear. We talked about that just a minute ago. But it has to be clear. A future that's unclear is not inspiring.
No.
Outstanding leadership, basically, they always ask the question, why? Essentially, you want your people, your followers, your people, your team to understand why you do the things you do, or why they're doing the things they're doing. Because why? It takes them back to the purpose. Mm-hmm. And so, it's funny. Ashley and I were talking the other day, and I was like, "Did you tell her why?" We were talking about one of the kids. Mm-hmm. Did you tell her why she needed to be home at a certain time? Well, because I said so.
I just saw stars. I just saw red. Jeremy, don't say that.
You remember that?
Yes, I remember that. I still try my hardest not to say it, but Ashley, I get you, girl.
Yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, golly, don't say that. Like, figure out a reason why the curfew is what it is. Because she needs to get a rest. It's not because you said so. And because you don't want her out that late. It's dangerous. People, they're drunks on the road.
Right.
Whatever. But always give a reason why. It's not because you said so or because you have the authority to do so. It's just not that it's just not. So,
or the other one is, we've always done it that way. Or like,
yeah,
but the clarity is it's not very clear just because you've done it that way.
Right. Right. All right. So along with the vision, no matter how good your vision is, you have to communicate it, right? And you have to communicate it clear, but you have to communicate it. And I said, you heard me say earlier, we got to put it on the wall.
Yeah.
Like,
I wrote that down.
Like, really, I think it needs to be on the wall. It's that important because that's where we're going. That's where we're headed. And so it needs to be on the wall. Now, it could be just in a picture frame, but it definitely needs to be there. Never assume that your people know your vision because they don't. You have to tell it to them. So also when announcing decisions or accomplishments or whatever, it always needs to go back to the vision. Always. Reward. Oh, by the way. So again, we talked about it not being just a thing on the wall or a thing that you say, but it has to be something that you do. So the action, it's not just in discussion. It's not just there, but we got to have action. Your vision is strong. You have confidence to make tough decisions, set and achieve lofty goals, and take action. Sometimes we oftentimes learn better through story.
Mm-hmm.
When Amazon first started, Jeff Bezos was a legendary leader. Basically, I believe his leadership vision, I looked it up. So be the store for everything, A to Z. So he just wanted to be, he literally said, I just want to be the store for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he is. Everybody buys from Amazon. I don't know anybody that doesn't buy from Amazon. I don't. Do you know anybody that doesn't buy from Amazon? Everybody buys from Amazon.
Yeah, no.
And they can buy anything, right?
So what happens when you get to that point, though?
I don't know.
So now Amazon is the store for everything.
Yeah.
What's next?
I don't know. And that leads into what we talked about a while ago. Does your vision change? Yeah, I would say so. Unless you're Elon Musk, and where he says we want to live planet species on Mars, But what happens when we get there? Maybe, I heard something the other day. They said the reason that he does boring and electric vehicles and all that stuff is so that he can put all this stuff on Mars. They're going to send the robots up there to colonize it because they don't have to have air to breathe. They're robots. They don't have to have food. So he's going to fly them up there on one of his spacecrafts.
That's so wild.
Unload an electric car, unload his rocket, unload these robots, and then they're going to bore tunnels in Mars with the boring company. Literally. So he's dreamed this up when he was a kid, and that's what his whole deal is, to go colonize Mars.
That's wild.
And he's going to do it with all these things he's built.
He's had a vision since he was 5 years old.
Crazy.
It's wild.
So, but what happens when he gets there? If he actually lives to see that happen, if he does it before he gets old and dies,
he goes to Jupiter.
Yeah, say he goes to Mars. Maybe he goes to another planet. But anyway,
yes. It's almost like vision, when I think of the word vision, I think of it as like a noun, right? Or
It's a verb.
yeah, it's a verb.
It's 100%.
That's maybe a blonde moment on our thing, but like when I think of vision, I think of it as like a thing.
Right. Well, leadership's the same way. Most people
Wow.
think about leadership as a thing. It's something that you do.
Right.
It's a verb.
Yep. Crazy.
Yep. Leadership at its core really is all about vision. I mean, again, of all the mandates that we have, this particular one is critical in nature. So, and again, you can be a leader and not be all that determined. Be a great leader. But this one is really core because it's almost impossible to be a leader without this, right? Even at any degree. And you must be taking your team on a journey for a better future. Okay. Now, when you don't have vision? Let's talk about that. What happens when you don't have vision?
I don't know. I mean, not saying that I have vision and I just would never, but I mean, I feel like that is kind of a hard question. So if you're a leader that doesn't have vision, then you're just a manager.
Yeah.
But if you're a person who maybe is in their beginning stages of leadership journey, I think a vision is kind of hard to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
So I don't think that it means that they can't be successful, but I think that it's going to be a lot harder for them to be successful.
They will be successful to a certain degree. Okay. The bigger the vision, the more success. The smaller the vision, the less success. And success is a relative term.
Right.
Because success, what was it on Jurassic Park? The guy said big was relative, and he was talking about a canary and a dog,
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, success is measured by who's measuring it.
Right.
And as is this, because you can have some vision and go to a certain point. But in order to continue to grow and climb the mountain, the impact mountain,
Mm-hmm.
you got to have a vision that's extraordinary. And when you don't have vision, you lack focus and direction. And that's what happens. So essentially, people lose their sense of purpose. And they're only going to grow so long. I personally seen in my career different people lead different ways. And I was exposed to a lot of great leaders, by the way. But I've seen leaders with great vision. And I've seen leaders that did not have great vision. And what happens is they only grow to a certain point and they stop growing. And the vision is never articulated. And so the other people only grow to a certain point and then they stop growing. Okay? So that's what happens, essentially, without the vision. And the Bible's even clear about that, Maddie. And I believe it's Proverbs. Man. Oh, I'm going to look. It's Proverbs chapter 29, I believe. And I'm about to confirm. Yes. Right here. Now, I'm reading from the NASB, New American Standard Bible, which by far, in my opinion, is the one that everyone should read. Now, that's just my opinion, and I said it. I'm entitled to that. Okay. It says and I'll explain that later.
What is this again? Proverbs what?
29:18. Okay. It says this: where there is no vision, the people are unrestrained. Wow. Some translations of the Bible have said, where there's no vision, the people perish. Some people's translations say something different.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, where there's no vision, it's not good. Okay? The Bible does say that. Read it if you don't believe me. So, what happens? The question I said is, what happens when we don't have vision? And I just told you lose direction.
Yeah.
And you also lose good people because they're not growing. Have a strong vision will bring clarity and focus and passion and purpose to your people again. Okay? So, leadership vision gives direction, period. And without direction, people just aimlessly wander around. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what's next. Some people operate in that world just fine, and most people don't. Okay? You have to have direction. I'm the kind of guy. I want to know where I'm going. I want to know what life looks like in 5 years. Some people don't care, but the leaders often do. And you want to know where you're going. And so it's impossible to really be a great leader without telling people where they're going. It's important. Good leadership vision paints the picture for the future, and it requires you to be able to see big picture. I always tell people, pull up 3,000 feet and look down on the situation. Because if you want to see the whole thing, and again, goes back to what I said earlier about me having my out-of-body experiences, but that's what I tell myself. 3,000 feet, that's where I'm going. I'm going to go up 3,000 feet, and I'm going to look down on the situation. And I'm going to give a neutral perspective, not Jeremy's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jeremy is a sinner. Jeremy is selfish. Jeremy is sometimes envious. Jeremy is jealous. Jeremy, there's so many things that Jeremy
Mm-hmm.
in his flesh is. And it's so critical that I pull up outside of Jeremy and look down and say, I got to do the right thing here. What is truth?
Right.
And what is God's what would God want? Not Jeremy. And man, so many times I'm wrong. Like Jeremy wants the wrong thing, but I'm guided by the principle that I'm not in charge. God's in charge, and I'm simply a steward. And so I have to call it an out-of-body experience. I have to get outside of myself and make decisions based on the circumstances and what God would have, not me, right? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So you got to see where you're headed, and you got to prepare for that, for the future. A clear vision also means that you can make better decisions because you know what you're grounded in those. And so setbacks and challenges are way less stressful when you know where you're going. Because stress is built in the unknown.
Right.
Your body is stressed. You feel the stress and all that when you don't know. And so that's why it's so stressful sometimes at work, when really the leader's responsible for making everything known.
Right.
Which brings the stress down. I've been a part of organizations where it's so stressful because nobody knew what was going on. It's like, man, I don't want to live like this. It's so bad for me, my health. It's terrible.
Yeah.
And, some might say, well, maybe it's self-inflicted. Maybe it is, but I don't want to be there. I want to be where I know what's going on and I know where I'm headed.
Yeah.
And
you're bringing along the people that
correct
can see it with you.
Yeah. And I'm offering leadership for them,
Mm-hmm.
So, you don't want to become distracted. You want to make sure you stay focused, and, vision does that. Yeah. So it's essential. All right. Let's talk about probably one of the last things here, inspiration. So when we talk about inspiration, what does that mean to you? Being inspired.
I look at it like a few different ways. So, but in terms of like leadership, it's what drives you. What's the reasoning? Like, what's why are you going where you're going? Like, why is your vision that? Why?
Right.
But then again, I can also see where it's like a person, so like if you're at work, you may have a boss or who is inspiring, who lifts you up, who, yeah, I don't,
Well, I mean, you can have a vision and not be all that inspirational, I guess. You could, but you're going to have a hard time getting people to buy into it. So the inspiration is born from different things. And I believe that in being inspired, I was told years ago, I was told that I was an inspiration to people. And, again, at that time in my life, I think I tried to be. That was my goal. I wanted to inspire people to become better versions of themselves.
mm-hmm.
And so in order to do that, I had to have vision and I had to be able to paint the picture for them because that's exciting. Talking about where you're going. As human beings, we are explorers. We like to explore, go hiking, do new things, hunt, fish. You have all kinds of people that explore different things. But typically we are explorers and seeing things new and for what they are is so important. And being able to inspire people to want to grow and want to do things is so important. And vision is just part of that because you want to be able to paint the picture of where they're going. And so it is inspirational. You have to make sure your team can understand what you're aiming for and why you're aiming for it. And so where are we going? It's always exciting for everyone. And if you remember back in the Gospels where Jesus said to his disciples, he said, and I'm not quoting this, I'm not reading it, but he said something to the effect of, where I'm going, you cannot go. And of course, he did paint the picture for them. Okay, and then Peter's like, where are you going? He wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so, anyway, but those were his followers. And so your vision needs to be lived out every day. So when like the vision statement that you read for Impact Service Group a while ago, that I want to embody every day. And so I have to read it and I have to message it and communicate it so that my team will proudly walk behind me in that vision.
Right.
Okay. To that future. And then they have to play their part in that. And I have to be able to tell them what that is. When you demonstrate that you're fully behind the vision, then your team will follow. And so if you don't talk about the vision and you don't talk about the future, again, they're just going to be there. They're just going to work.
In the picture frame.
Yeah. Work half-heartedly, and they're going to do what they have to do to get by. When you want to drive results, go to a Nick Saban pep rally or Kirby Smart pep rally, where they're talking about taking home the gold, and where they're going and growing and all that stuff. And it's exciting stuff. And they're building momentum
right
in their vision.
Mm-hmm.
Without that, you're wasting your time and trying to lead. You have to have vision to lead. And so that's the takeaway. With a clear vision for yourself and your organization or your team, you and your team can make positive contributions to the mission. And so knowing the vision is part of it.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
So that's pretty much it on vision now.
That's good. I thought definitely opened my eyes a little bit more. I'm the type of person that kind of rolls my eyes at vision statements. You know what I'm saying? Well, not now, for sure. But also because I think I've been part of most organizations where it's like, you just get up, it's on your desk because it's
100%. That's the problem. But that's what we're
trying to not be that.
Yes.
Obviously, we're hoping to coach people to not do that.
Well, hopefully I've painted the picture that that's not going to work by saying it 42 times, that it can't just be on the wall. It has to be something that you do. And you said it was a verb.
Yeah.
It's something that you live.
Yep.
And it's something that people know about you being around you for 5 minutes. You know, that it is a real, genuine thing to have that vision. And when, you know, go sit down and do an interview with Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or whatever, they're going to tell you why they're doing what they're doing and why it's a big deal and what the mission is. And it just keeps dumping out of their mouth. I read something not too long ago where I felt like, man, you gotta say it more, Jeremy. You gotta say it more. And then I think, no, I don't want to be redundant. I don't want to be that guy that's just, the words are just coming.
Right. And
so what can I do to really embody it? You know? And I don't really know, other than to live it, breathe it, sleep it, say it, do it.
Yeah.
You know?
I think vision too, if you're a good leader, and you truly believe in the vision and you're carrying it out, I don't think you really have to repeat it all the time. And, you know, like verbally.
Right.
It's because you're living it, like what you just said.
Yeah. People see it.
You embody it.
People feel it. You know? I think that people can see it and feel it, and then when it's genuine. I had lunch the other day with a guy, and I had said some stuff that I feel deep in my soul. Like, you know, why did I start my company? And so I told him, well, because of my people. I wanted 2 reasons. I wanted to have a bigger impact on the world than what I currently was holding. Okay? And that's another reason I named it Impact. I mean, I wanted to make an impact way far bigger than what I had been doing currently. And the way to do that was to start a company, because I can then influence much of what I'm doing instead of just some of it. You know, like where I was working before, which God love them, but I was only able to influence this certain amount of that company. And I wasn't mad at them, but it wasn't enough influence for me. I wanted more.
Yeah.
And they couldn't give it to me. They chose not to give it to me.
Yeah.
And that's their choice. And so I decided, well, then I'll make my own impact.
Yep.
And I'll start a company and call it Impact. And so that's what I did. Well, now I can influence all of the business and not just the sales.
Right.
Or not just the shop, or not just this or that. That's the reason I started my company. That's the number one reason. The number 2 reason, that's really only one that matters. But it was never about money. It was never about retiring early.
Yeah.
It was never about any. And so when someone asked me, why'd you start your company? I just told you, it's about the impact that I wanted to have on the world and the legacy I wanted to leave. And so that's it. Anyway, I told him all that. And then later on, I found out that he asked another guy that was with us, if that was genuine or if I just said it. And I was like, no, it was definitely genuine.
Yeah, so, I studied my flashcards before I sat down.
Yeah.
No, you were speaking from your heart.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, he then followed that by saying, I think he was definitely speaking from the heart, and that's powerful. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's what the Impact show, the whole brand was built off of my desire to influence the world in a greater capacity than what I was currently doing. And so the vision that goes along with that is very necessary.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
One thing that you said, and then we can stop, but I think we kind of, glazed over it real quick, was that the vision inspires people to come where you're going.
Yeah.
And you have to embody that.
100%.
I mean, you know where you're going. And you got to influence the people and inspire the people around you to come along with you.
Yeah. I'm so excited about our Christmas banquet coming up in December for Impact. And I'll tell you why. So I'm going to bring together all of these people that have helped me on the journey for Impact. Mm-hmm. and I'm going to take the opportunity to get them all in a room. We're going to have Christmas celebration, but at the end of the day, I'm going to tell them where we're going. That's my goal. I want to tell them where we're going and what it means to be a part of this team. And I'm excited about that.
You should be.
Yeah. And then in March, we have to have a leadership summit for Impact show.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about where we're going there too.
Yeah.
With a whole bunch of leaders in the room. So I'm excited about that.
Good things happening here at the Impact Studio.
Yeah. God willing, I'm going to do my part for sure, as long as I'm able. So.
Love it.
Anyway, that button's up vision.
Very good.
Any questions, comments, concerns, issues, something you want to say?
No.
No?
I'm good.
Okay.
Love it.
All right. Well, we will sign off and see you guys next week.
Signing off.
Thank y'all.